Well, boys, we had a nice run. It's time to pack it on up, go back to McDonald's, get our asses back to the factory, back to the trenches. I guess the Matrix it is forever. I'm so depressed. Oh man, I can't even do that. I can't even be depressed right now. I'm actually kind of excited about what's going on, guys. The fear and greed index is at 17. 17. In case you're wondering, I'm not going to be doing the guitar stuff tonight because it's really late. And I just wanted to do a video because it's crazy what's going on right now. Now in this video, I want to talk about a few things. The market's capitulating. I think tomorrow when markets open, the stock market, the bell rings, I think we're going to dump. Could be serious, I don't know. But Trump probably needs to make some announcements. There has been a lot of countries trying to negotiate. I mean, if I'm just going to pull up some of these things and show you guys. This was 2 hours ago. Breaking. Chinese stock market falls over 10% at open. Dude. This is crazy out here. Global. They thought they were safe. They're not. They can't replace the U.S. consumer base. I don't care what they say. The American people are consumers. We buy iPhones. We buy McDonald's and stupid shit, you know? No other countries, they can't replace us. I don't care what they say. America's full of consumers. And they want to trade with us. Here we go. A whole bunch of shit they're posting on here. Just in, Taiwan stock market trading halted. Circuit breaker triggered. Just in, Taiwan stock index falls 9.8% at open. Just in, Japanese Prime Minister says he's ready to visit the U.S. and negotiate tariffs with President Trump. The list goes on and on. UK and German stock futures fell over 4%. Japan suspends 225 stock futures trading due to circuit breaker. This is crazy. Jim Cramer did speak on this. He said, not Jim, well, yeah, he called a market crash tomorrow, which could be the inverse, because Jim Cramer, every time he says some shit, basically the opposite, Dude's a fucking idiot. But I do think we're going to dump more tomorrow. Billionaire Mark Cuban says don't sell, it will come back. I just don't know how long it will take. Yeah, and Trump's holding tight on he's doubling down on his tariff thing. Now let's just look at some of these altcoins. This is on my watch list, man. Art Block, 46 cents. LCX, 11 cents. Alchemy Pay back under 2 cents. Jasmy under fucking 1 cent. Fox, 2 cents. I mean, this is the straight annihilation. Annihilation. No survivors. This shit getting destroyed out here, my boy. I mean, this is crazy. It's probably going to dump more. Actually, I want to pull up the Bitcoin chart just for a second, because before I get into it, I'm going to play a video of Trump. It's a full uncut video of him on Air Force One, and it'll kind of give you a better understanding of this. And also, I want to play a clip of, and I'm going to play the video. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on it. It's kind of long. It's like 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to play another 2-minute video of this guy talking about emergency rate cuts. Look at this chart, man. This is just straight slaughter. Let's look at the weekly. Look at this, man. Let me go to the monthly. It's just been a bloodbath, dude. This is insane. Insane. Unbelievable discounts everywhere, even Bitcoin right now. I mean, this is where you really get rich, guys. You don't get rich chasing green candles. You get rich chasing the red ones. As much as it sucks ass, this needed to be done. This should have been done 50 years ago, Basically, all our manufacturing and all this stuff has gone overseas. That's why, I mean, how many products do you see on China? American products do you see being sold in China? Fucking none. And everything here is Chinese. Everything here is made in Mexico, Taiwan, China. We're consumers, man. They're not going to not want to trade with us. They have too many goods and shit coming here. They're going to have to come up with some kind of negotiation to get out of this, because now they're not safe. Their stock markets are tumbling now. They're going to have to come up with something. Now, I'm going to play this of Trump speaking, And honestly, it's going to make you understand a lot more about why he's doing what he's doing and how it's going to put us in a much better position. All right? I don't think you guys realize, basically, this is going to also, influence the Fed to cut interest rates because the United States has a lot of debt. They need to refinance it. They don't want to do that with high-ass interest rates, Anyways, I'll get into that in a second, but let me just play this with Trump.
Okay, let's go.
Sir, the Chinese foreign...
Back up a little
Sure.
bit.
The Chinese Foreign Ministry said that the market has spoken when asked about the tariffs. What do you make of
The
that?
market has spoken when they look at the fact that we have $1 billion trade deficit. When you look at the trade deficit that we have with certain countries, way over $1 billion per country. But with China, it's $1 trillion. And we have to solve our trade deficit with China. We have $1 trillion trade deficit with China. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year we lose with China. And unless we solve that problem, I'm not going to make a deal. Now, I'm willing to deal with China, but they have to solve their surplus. We have a tremendous deficit problem with China. They have a surplus of at least $1 trillion a year. I think it's like $1.1 trillion. And I want that solved. And no other president's taken it on. I had to take it on the last time, and then we had a rigged election. No other president's taken it on. And so China is, they say the market's spoken. China is right now taking a big hit because everyone knows we're right. They have to pay tariffs because otherwise we have a surplus, and they have a surplus with us that is not sustainable.
Mr. President.
And we're talking about $1 trillion, you know that, right? We're not going to lose $1 trillion for the privilege of buying pencils from China.
On the idea of crashing the markets on purpose, there's been some speculation, partly because of the video that was posted on Truth Social, that there was some sort of deliberate effort on your part to have the market sell off. Can you talk about that?
No, that's not so. But I do want to solve the deficit problem that we have with China, with the European Union and other nations. And they're going to have to do that. And if they want to talk about that, I'm open to talking. But otherwise, why would I want to talk? And as you know, because of the tariffs, we have $7 trillion already committed to be invested in the United States, building auto plants, building chip companies, and all sorts of companies are coming into our country at levels that we've never seen before. Biden had nothing coming in. This was a dead country with Biden. He didn't know what he was doing, and that's now been proven at least.
You talked to a lot of leaders this weekend. Can you tell us, sir, were there any deals made?
I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country. We're not going to do that, because to me a deficit is a loss. We're going to have surpluses, or we're at worst going to be breaking even. But China would be the worst in the group, because the deficit is so big and it's not sustainable. And I was elected on this. This was one of the biggest reasons I got elected, was exactly because of this. And we're going to put tariffs, we've already put them on. It's not a question of we will. We're going to put them on. And those tariffs next year will make us $1 trillion. In addition to the $1 trillion, thousands of companies are going to relocate back into the United States. In North Carolina, already furniture people are starting to move back in Detroit and Michigan, which I won because of what I said, what I'm telling you. Car companies are starting to open up. In Indiana, a big one is under construction, as an example, Honda. But they're moving in like nobody's ever seen this before. So it's unsustainable for us to allow China to have surpluses of $1 trillion. We will be taking in over $1 trillion over the next short period of time with the tariffs that I've already instituted. They're already in place. Now, what's going to happen with the market, I can't tell you, but I can tell you our country has gotten a lot stronger. And eventually, it'll be a country like no other. It'll be the most dominant country economically in the world,
Mr. President,
which is what it should be.
is there a Trump put though? Is there pain in the market at some point? You're unwilling to tolerate this idea of a Trump put. Is there a threshold?
I think your question is so stupid. I mean, I think it's I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something, and we have such a horrible. We have been treated so badly by other countries because we had stupid leadership that allowed this to happen. They took our businesses, they took our money, they took our jobs, they moved it to Mexico, they moved it to Canada, they moved a lot of it to China, and it's not sustainable. We're not going to do it. Now we have hundreds of billions of dollars is pouring into our country on a monthly basis. It's pouring. It's already started because I put tariffs on. And eventually it's going to straighten out, and our country will be solid and strong again.
Elon Musk has said he hopes for zero tariffs between the U.S. and Europe. Is that a place you'd like to also get to?
Well, the problem is that Europe has made a fortune with us. You know, Europe also has had a tremendous surplus with the United States. Europe has treated us, it's a little smaller, but they've treated us very, very badly. China has, but Europe has also. Europe has been very, very bad to us. Europe has taken our leaders for a ride. They don't take our cars. They don't take our food products. They don't take anything. And we take their cars, Mercedes, Volkswagen, BMW. You know, we take their millions of cars. They take no cars. They don't take our farm product. They don't take anything. Europe's treated us very badly. We put a big tariff on Europe. They are coming to the table. They want to talk. But there's no talk unless they pay us a lot of money on a yearly basis. Number one for present, but also for past, because they've taken a lot of our wealth away, and we're not going to allow it to happen.
Sir, have you talked to any tech leaders over the weekend about the tariffs?
Yeah, I talked to the biggest in the world. I talked to the biggest of them all, many of them, but I've talked to, I would say 4 or 5 that are considered the biggest. They don't, and you know what they said? We don't blame you.
Who did you talk to?
I don't want to say. I'll put it out. I may give it to you.
NVIDIA CEO?
I have to find out if they mind. You know, I don't know if that was a confidential call or not, but we had 5 or 6. I've spoken to many countries. They all want to do, just so you understand the power of what I'm doing. Every country is calling and being very solicitous of us. Very, very nice. They're being very nice. And we have to be able to justify. This is not sustainable. The United States can't lose $1.9 trillion on trade. We can't do that and also spend a lot of money on NATO in order to protect European nations. We cover them with military, then we lose money on trade. The whole thing is crazy. And I got elected on that basis. We explained it. You know, the American people understand it a lot better than the media. But the media understands it. And much of the media writes correctly about it, I must say.
Sir,
Okay.
Sir, when are the next set of talks with Russia, and who will participate, and where are we in terms of making progress in terms of peace?
We're talking to Russia. We'd like them to stop. I don't like the bombing. The bombing goes on, and every week thousands of young people are being killed. And it's a horrible thing that should have never started, would have never started if I were president, 100%.
On the tariffs, is it a negotiation
Who are you
now? Bloomberg, sir. Is it a negotiation or rules of the road?
Go ahead, another question, please.
Sir,
Sir, about TikTok.
She has too many questions.
Sir, about TikTok, there was a report that there was about to be a deal, but China changed its mind because of the
I'd say it
tariffs.
was largely true. The report is that we had a deal pretty much for TikTok. Not a deal, but pretty close. And then China changed the deal because of tariffs. If I gave a little cut in tariffs, they'd approve that deal in 15 minutes, which shows you the power of tariffs, right?
President, former New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu is saying that he'll win the open Senate seat in New Hampshire and that he has no doubt you'll support him if he runs. Is that true?
True. I told him, he came to my office, came to the Oval Office, and met with Chris Sununu, and I support him fully. I hope he runs. He's been very nice to me over the last year or so. No, I hope he runs. I think he'll win that seat.
Sir, when we get into late summer, early fall, and people are doing their back-to-school shopping, do you think they'll have inflation to worry about at that point?
I think there's not going to be. I don't think inflation is going to be a big deal because if you look at me, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars. This is not new to me. I took in during my 4 years hundreds of billions of dollars from China. And we also took in a lot of money from other countries, but in particular China, because it was just getting started. And we had no inflation. Who had inflation was Biden. Biden had the worst inflation in the history of our country. I had no inflation. We had a perfect country. We had no wars. I ended them all. I defeated ISIS. Everything was good. And then when this numbskull got in, as they really call themselves now, numbskulls, but when he got in, bad things happened to our country, including our open border. And now we're doing very well with, we have the best numbers on the border that we've ever had.
Speaking of the border, have you talked to Attorney General Pam Bondi recently about the cases going on with the deportations?
Yeah, sure. It's really sad when you think that Biden allowed millions of people to come in, and if they find one, now I will tell you, the one, somebody said he's a member of MS-13, not Tren de Aragua. He's a member of MS-13, and therefore he should immediately be brought back. Well, MS-13 is just as bad as Tren de Aragua. So they say, oh, we made a mistake because he's not with them, he's with MS-13. Bring him back, bring him back. MS-13 is a very bad group.
Sir, how concerned,
maybe as bad, actually.
How concerned are you about the measles outbreak? There was another fatality today, and what else would you like to see in terms of the response?
Well, I think they're doing reports on it. It's so far a fairly small number of people relative to what we're talking about. It's something that people have known about for many, many years. I mean, measles has been, this is not something new. And we'll see what happens. But certainly, if it progresses, we'll have to take action, very strong action.
El Salvador's president said on X that he'd been invited to the White House on April 14th for a working visit to discuss Tren de Aragua and MS-13 and other ways we can support each other, the U.S. and El Salvador. I was curious if you could expand more on what some of these other ideas you have for El Salvador.
Well, I think, you're in the way of that camera, by the way. You should at least say that the camera operator should probably say that she's shooting the back of your head, I don't know why she doesn't say it. I have to say it instead. I have great respect for him. I know him. I've known him for a long time. He's a young leader, and he's very tough on crime. Very, very tough on crime. And in their system, their prison system, they spend a tiny fraction of the money that this country spends. So, but he is coming in, I don't know when, but he is coming in sometime over the next couple of weeks.
What are you and Prime Minister Netanyahu going to speak about tomorrow?
All right, so yeah, we're kind of getting off topic with the tariff situation there. But I just wanted to play that for you guys because, Trump is standing up, putting America first. And it's kind of funny. Oh, the numbskull. It really was. He printed 50% of our circulating supply in 2 years. And you know what he did with that money? He spent it all on LGBT programs, illegal immigrants. Guys, all these programs, people are getting mad at Trump for cutting. It was unsustainable. Let's just be real. You just can't, it's like having a credit card and keep swiping it and never paying the bill. But guess who's really paying the bill? We are. We're paying the fucking bill. All right? It's not good. And Biden's economy was propped up on a money printer. Trump came in and he hit the reset button, and that's where we are right now. All right, I just want you guys to have a good understanding of that. Now, I'm going to play another short video. This is not even close to as long as that one. But this is the guy from Bloomberg. This guy's talking about the possible Federal Reserve emergency rate cuts.
.com. The pandemic framed this moment. What is this for you and the team?
Well, I was reading Larry Summers earlier, who pointed out that Thursday and Friday were back-to-back the worst market drops, except in 3 other instances: the '87 stock market crash, 2008 the financial crisis, and then 2020 COVID. So this is a historic period, and as you point out, we're down another 5%. I would tell you, in the other 3 instances, the Fed stepped in immediately and cut rates sizably. So I think for now, if you go back to Friday, the Fed can talk tough. They have to be looking at this. I don't know if they can even make it to the May meeting before they start bringing rates down.
At the same time, nothing seems to have broken yet. It doesn't seem like things have gotten disorderly yet, despite the margin calls. And there is a real concern about inflation picking back up. How much can you really reject what Jay Powell said on Friday?
Well, you have to reject something he said over the last few years. Remember, they talked about the long and variable lags. So now they're saying they're going to wait for the accident before they respond and then wait for the long and variable lags to take hold. I don't think so. I think if you step back and look at the totality of what's going on, you cannot believe that there's nothing under the surface that's going to break. We already know that businesses in the lower rated end of the quality spectrum have been struggling. When you look at private credit and look at the percentage of amend and extends, it's very high. What happens when their cost of funding just ratcheted up another couple percent and they're going to see top line growth come down as well as their input costs go up? I think this is a serious moment. I do not think the Fed can just sit on the side.
If you do
Guys, if the Fed comes in and does an emergency rate cut, these markets are Bitcoin's gonna fly, crypto's gonna fly, the market's gonna gain back all the losses fairly quick. And there is a lot of fear in this market right now. Let me go back and look at this fear and greed. I think it was like 17, I think. It might even drop lower tomorrow. And we have a lot of, there's inflation data coming out also. Let me just look up this. Let me look up the economic calendar. I'll pull it up for you guys here real quick. Let's see, Monday, consumer credit, NFIB optimism index on Tuesday, which is like a measure of how well small businesses are doing. Wednesday, wholesale and inventories. And you got it looks like the Fed is talking. They're going to talk about this is 2 o'clock on Wednesday. So who knows? They could do a cut then. Who knows, you know? Who really knows, my boy? Because the Fed is going to be talking, but it's really just like a rerun of like last meeting, you know? Thursday, we have initial jobless claims, and we have consumer price index, year-over-year core CPI. Friday, PPI, okay, which is producer price index. This data is really going to move markets. I'm just going to be real with you. And if I have to take a guess, I think it might come in lower than expected. Inflation has come down. That's what happens when the market kind of, you know, gets hammered like it has been. Inflation comes down. And it's hard to control inflation while the market's rallying. It just, you know, increases inflation. So we might possibly get emergency rate cuts. It's not out the cards, you know. Every time we see these major capitulations like this, the Fed has to step in. I mean, Jay Powell is being very stubborn. I think he's doing this because he's like kind of a Biden loyalist, but it is what it is, man. It's either cut rates or go into a fucking recession, you know? And I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to destroy his legacy like that, you know? I don't think he wants to do that. I think he's going to have to cut these rates, guys. Trump's playing his cards. It is what it is. Right now, I see this as an excellent buying opportunity. Not financial advice, but I mean, anytime you see this thing in extreme fear, that's a good time to buy. Even if it's not the bottom. Guys, we're close, you know? We're getting close. Looks like Bitcoin just lost 77. We're going down to 76 now. I think we could keep selling off until market open and then dump more. So guys, brace for impact. This is not going to be pretty, but you know, it's going to be some green candles on the other side of this at some point. Look at this, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, I'm so depressed. I got my McDonald's hat ready, bruh. About to take my ass back to the factory. Yeah. Nah, but seriously, guys, this is a generational opportunity. Like every 7 to 10 years, we have an opportunity like this. The last one was COVID. That's because we had like a black swan event, you know, like the COVID breakout or whatever. But, you know, this is a generational opportunity. All right. I don't know how else to say it. This is a transfer of wealth. And this is the chance that middle class has to accumulate assets for fucking cheap. Let's go. Let's go. Because I'm ready, man. I've been working my ass off, putting money in this market. I didn't think I was still going to be accumulating at this point. I did not. Thought I was going to be taking profits right now. But you know, things don't always go as planned. You just have to keep focused and don't deviate from your plan. Not everything works out the way you expect it to, gentlemen. But sometimes you just have to keep going, stay the course, and trust the process. And with that being said, I'm going to close this video. It's been kind of a long one. If you guys get any value from me, please like and subscribe to my channel. And guys, I hope we all make it out the matrix. This sucks right now. It's not fun to watch your portfolio get diced, but on the positive side, we're able to reaccumulate these assets for very, very cheap. I mean, some of these altcoins are retesting bear market lows right now, and it's just like, it's hard to just, you know, it's hard not to buy. I'm just being real. Even if you're buying small amounts, it still matters, you know. You're still doing more than you would chasing green candles when you're chasing these capitulations like this. It looks like Bitcoin's still free falling, you know, 76.6. I think tomorrow's going to be even worse, gentlemen. I think tomorrow's going to be a bloodbath. There's going to be some fucking ball sacks and testicles flying all over the place, appendixes. And I'm going to be over there watching, and I'm probably going to be accumulating more. But with that being said, hold down the fort, gentlemen.